Did you see that? Someone must have cast an Alohomora spell because we're about to unlock another door that contains magical secrets about the Harry Potter franchise. Have you ever wondered how Alan Rickman really went through Severus Snape?
Do you take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all?
It wasn't always an easy journey for the actor, but what else do you expect when you're tasked with bringing one of the most complex wizards in pop culture to life? So, sit back, grab some butterbeer, and
Prepare yourself.
It's hard to imagine anyone other than Alan Rickman playing Severus Snape, but the role almost went to another British actor with a penchant for playing baddies. Despite J.K. Rowling personally requesting that the part of the reformed Death Eater be offered to Alan, Warner Brothers tried to hire Tim Roth instead. But the Reservoir Dogs star turned it down, and the studio was more than happy for Alan to be his replacement. In many ways, not offering Alan the role from the get-go is even worse than Dumbledore thinking Snape wasn't the best choice to teach defense against the dark arts.
Turn to page 394.
Even Roth thinks Alan was better suited for the part. During a Reddit AMA in which he was asked about refusing to join the wizarding world, he said that he'd have played Snape differently, but noted how the better man got the job in the end. Moral of the story? Maybe listen to the author who wrote the frickin' books when it comes to casting characters she created in the first place. Besides, it's understandable why Rowling wanted Mr. Rickman. He came across like a scary fella in real life.
Silence!
But let's be real about this. He was too good at playing the mean old potions master, so you'd be forgiven for thinking that he was a cranky pants who hated kids. However, Alan was just lost in his performance. The dude was such an intense method actor that threw himself into every role he took on, and Snape was no different. So much so that some of his co-stars didn't know what to expect when they met him for the first time. While recalling her experiences working alongside the late great actor, Ivana Lynch admitted that she was terrified of Alan on the set. Unsurprisingly, she was shocked to discover that he was actually a really nice guy who was actually pretty great around children.
Don't lie to me.
In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Ivana fondly recalled a time when he was dressed up in his Snape gear and a bib, casually chatting to a bunch of youngsters. It was the most bizarre scene to see Snape in this black robe, usually with like a bib on. We had to wear these bibs so we didn't ruin our costume, surrounded by all these happy little children who were just chatting away to him. Much like his character in the movies, Alan was also capable of making magic happen.
Always.
After meeting a terminally ill child fan who was visiting the set of The Prisoner of Azkaban, Rickman walked up to the producers and informed them that the young lad was going to be in the movie. So they threw him into a shot with a group of students and made his dream come true. The scene wasn't included in the final cut, but the gesture showed that Alan had a heart of gold at the end of the day. Snape might have hated children.
Should you ever steal from my personal stores again, my hand might just slip over your morning pumpkin juice.
But Alan was a different story. Even though his younger colleagues were often pretty terrified of him when they were shooting the Harry Potter flicks, the veteran performer was always there to help them.
In these lessons, I will attempt to penetrate your mind.
One quick search online brings up countless stories about him giving them advice, buying them gifts, and generally just being a top-class bloke. Now, we all know that Snape didn't have a sense of humor, but how did Alan feel about being the butt of a joke? Check out this story Rupert Grint had to share about ribbing the actor and getting caught.
I drew this rather unpretty picture of Alan Rickman, and as I was drawing it, Alan Rickman was standing right behind me, and I was so scared.
Surely Alan gave young Rupert a stern telling off for his mischievous behavior, or not.
I made him sign it, and I have it in my possession. And I'm very fond of it.
In fact, Alan was prone to getting up to no good in his own right.
They had put a fart machine into my sleeping bag.
Just look at his reaction to the squelching sound. Snape would never laugh at farts. It seems that Alan had a lot of fun working with Rupert and the gang, but his Harry Potter tenure wasn't always a magical experience. For example, in some of Alan's unearthed letters and diary entries following his passing in 2016, it was revealed that he was frustrated while working on some of the movies. In one exchange between the actor and producer David Heyman after The Chamber of Secrets was released, Alan had to be reminded that he was an integral part of the franchise. The letter didn't mention what the actor's issues were per se, but chances are they had to do with the direction of his character. You see, when he signed up to star in the movies, movies, there were only 3 Harry Potter books, and Snape was more or less just a moody teacher in them. But Alan wanted to play a character with depth and a meatier backstory, and he almost quit the mega-successful blockbuster saga because he thought Snape wouldn't evolve.
Fame isn't everything.
But being the professional that he was, he sought answers before making any rash decisions. This led to him having a reassuring conversation with J.K. Rowling, who made him privy to some Snape-related secrets.
It was just a kind of clue that there's something that meant it was possible for me to think he was other than.
J.K. didn't give away any major spoilers, but she did enough to convince Alan that Snape had a bigger role to play.
So there was something redeeming about him, potentially.
It wasn't even that she said that, it was just made him a little, there was something more human.
Of course, Snape went on to play a major part in the later books and movies, so Alan was probably grateful that he stuck around. Furthermore, since he was privy to some untapped Snape knowledge, he was able to guide the character through the franchise, sometimes even ignoring the demands of the filmmakers. If they asked him to do something that didn't make sense to Snape, he'd tell them no and use his secret knowledge to his advantage.
I can teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses.
Then again, some of his later experiences after becoming a big player weren't positive either. In a note which he titled, "Inside Snape's Head," the actor hinted at frustrations with director David Yates while working on The Half-Blood Prince. Basically, Alan seemed worried about the movie's appeal among teen audiences. The actor reportedly didn't reveal the details of his issues with the movie, but they probably came from a place of caring about the franchise and his character. David Yates didn't have anything negative to say about working with Alan, though. In fact, the director told the Los Angeles Times that he was a lovely guy. Of course, this was after initially thinking he was scary and unpleasant because Alan was in the zone to channel Snape's inner turmoil. If Alan's previous confessions reveal anything, it's that he wanted to do the best job that he could, so you can understand why he'd share his concerns from time to time. All of this might make Alan's overall Harry Potter experience unpleasant in the grand scheme of things, but was that really the case at all? What did the role of Professor Snape mean to the legendary British actor?
So I think I'm still trying to process that experience.
In a reflective interview with the Los Angeles Times after playing the character for over a decade, Alan noted how important the franchise was to him. That's because, no matter how many other characters he'd play in other movies, he always knew that he'd return to Hogwarts afterward. It was a punctuation mark in my life every year because I would be doing other things but always come back to that, and I was always aware of my place in the story even as others around me were not. In that same interview, he praised how the story progressed throughout the years and revealed how he loved working with the young actors and seeing them mature on the screen. If you liked this video, be sure to click on Emma Watson's journey to becoming Hermione.